if frogs can't persist on this landscape, what does that potentially tell us about our own persistence? And that sounds philosophical, but it's actually really quite practical, okay? When the rains come, this area around this boardwalk fills up with water. If this area wasn't here, the frogs wouldn't be here. And if this area wasn't here, when the rains came, the water would run downstream. Problem number one would be somebody downstream gets flooded. And problem number two would be all the nutrients and suspended solids that come in with the rain would blast out into the estuary and the near coastal systems, and that's what feeds the harmful algal blooms in the red tide. We pay a price downstream. And very, forget about ecologically, literally a price. People don't come here to go to beaches that are filled with stinking dead fish. We have to figure out how to fix this landscape back to the way it was 100 years ago, which was when it rained, the land filled up. And we have to find our space on that, rather than saying, we don't like rain, so let's make it all go downstream, right? So if we manage the water right, we'll have the frogs right. And if the frogs aren't right, we're doing something wrong with the water. So Frogwatch is a citizen science program for monitoring changes in frog and toad populations. Someplace out here. But we aren't going to find them. Are you okay with getting wet? If you listen long enough for the Cuban, it'll go.
And it's connected either way.
My mnemonic for Cuban tree frogs is opening a door in a scary movie.
There you go.
Are you old enough to remember that executive toy with the steel balls on the string?
Yes.
Right? Since we started Frogwatch, one of the definite signals is that invasive species have been spreading across the landscape. So Cuban tree frogs all over Southwest Florida. The greenhouse frog, which we don't have evidence that it has negative impacts, increasingly. Their call is soft and subtle. You really have to listen. They're easy to miss them. If you hear something calling close, let's try to triangulate on it. That it'd be cool for Gunnar to get a picture of one calling. I can't see this very well at all. I can just see him breathing. I think I see lines. Make him call. But if he jumps onto your face and lays eggs in your throat, we're not hanging out with you anymore. It was not developed 20 years ago. And then they came in and built the church and the fire station. All of our native frogs have a tadpole. So, they lay their eggs in the water and the tadpoles swim and then they metamorphose into an adult frog. So if there isn't enough water, or if the water has been degraded in terms of the chemicals that are in it, you'd expect to see the frog populations decline. Years ago, when this spot was selected, none of that development was over there. The mall wasn't there, the hockey arena wasn't there, none of that residential was there. And we heard a bobcat one night in those woods, and we would walk across the road and walk into the woods. And also the traffic was less 20 years ago, right? So there may even be things calling that we can't hear because it's so noisy. So as part of the construction, they had to take this old pasture and they dug it down a little bit deeper so it would hold more water, and they replanted all these native plants. So that ends up being this really good marsh out there. We hear more frogs now here normally than we did before it was developed. So the idea that you could use development to restore and create more wetland habitat is a different way of looking at the future. So this one that you can hear off in the background is a narrow-mouthed frog.
Water.
Yeah, shit. If we take the route as a whole, things look quite good, that we've maintained frog populations. I attribute that to a limited number of sites like the ones we have on campus. You know, we've committed to preserving areas on campus. And this is one of them right behind us, right? So this isn't going to be a parking lot, it's not going to be a building, it's not going to be a road. This is going to be green space. And there are places on campus where we've heard 8 species of frogs in one place at one night, right? We've done a great job on campus, and that keeps the numbers for the route as a whole up pretty good. You heard a Cuban, or heard a greenhouse? See my frog pen? If you want to be a citizen and a steward of this landscape, you have to understand that this is a different place than where we grew up. It's unique, it's special, and that we should learn those special things. That'll make us want to protect them. That one's an oak toad. I got knee deep and I thought, oh wait, I got a microphone in my pocket, don't I? We really can show that there's more frogs there before you develop it, right? And so some of it is obvious, right? You know, you put a Walmart parking lot where there used to be a pasture that got wet during the rainy season, and there just aren't that many frogs anymore, right? So I think we've documented that quite well.